God says, you can't ignore this any longer. Don't scroll, listen to this, because the moment these words appeared on your screen, something inside you shifted, your breath caught just a little, your chest tightened, a quiet whisper pressed forward from the back of your mind, and that's because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now more than you've admitted to yourself. You've been carrying something heavy, something silent, something you've tucked away behind routines, responsibilities, and the image of being strong, but your spirit knows you are standing at a threshold, and you can't ignore the pull any longer. Don't scroll, listen to this. Because the universe has been giving you signs, soft but persistent nudges that something in your life needs acknowledgement, something you've been avoiding out of fear, out of doubt, out of the belief that you must handle everything alone. You've been seeing angel numbers at strangely perfect moments. 111 when you're thinking about making a change, 222 when your heart feels unbalanced, 333 when your soul craves reassurance, 444 when you feel alone, 555 when everything inside you feels like it's shifting, and deep down you know these signs aren't coincidences, they are invitations. Your higher path has been calling to you, gently at first, then louder, insisting you pause, breathe, and pay attention. But you kept moving, kept pushing, kept brushing aside the emotions rising within you, telling yourself, I'm fine, I'm managing, even on days where your heart felt anything but steady. Don't scroll, your spirit needs this, because you've reached a point where the truth you've been avoiding is becoming impossible to ignore. You feel it when you wake up too early with your mind racing. You feel it in moments of silence when something inside you aches. You feel it when someone's name suddenly appears in your thoughts, when a memory returns out of nowhere, when your intuition whispers, something is coming. And you're right, something is coming. A revelation, a release, a shift, a moment of clarity you've been unknowingly preparing for. For months, maybe years, you've been carrying emotional weight that wasn't fully yours, expectations that drained you, fears that limited you, heartbreak that lingered longer than you wanted to admit. Don't scroll, listen to this closely, because God is guiding you toward the truth you've avoided, the truth you've tried to silence, the truth that is rising now because you are stronger than you were before, stronger in ways you don't give yourself credit for. Someone in your life, someone whose energy has been tied to yours, someone whose presence shaped you more than you realized, has been pulling at your spirit. Not physically. Energetically. Emotionally. You feel waves of emotion at unexpected times because your heart still remembers theirs. Their thoughts have drifted back to you, quietly, consistently, even if no words have been spoken aloud. You've felt it, the sudden heaviness, the random warmth, the moments where you sensed that someone was thinking of you. And you tried to dismiss it. You tried to block it. You tried to ignore it because acknowledging it meant facing what you weren't ready to feel. But don't scroll. Your heart needs this truth, you cannot outrun a connection that's tied to your soul. And you cannot pretend you don't feel the shift happening around you, the stirring, the soft internal tremor that tells you something big is aligning. You are entering a moment of awakening, spiritual, emotional, and deeply personal, and the reason it feels so intense is because you have outgrown who you used to be. The universe is pulling away the layers that no longer serve you, peeling back the masks, the defenses, the old fears, revealing a version of you that is ready to rise. But rising requires honesty. Rising requires release. Rising requires acknowledging what your intuition has been trying to reveal. Don't scroll, stay with this, because God is saying, you can't ignore this any longer, not as a warning, but as an invitation. An invitation to stop dimming your intuition. An invitation to stop burying your emotions. An invitation to stop playing small in situations where your soul is meant to expand. You've been sensing changes brewing, relationships shifting, priorities rearranging, old cycles closing, new pathways forming, and even though it feels overwhelming, it is not a sign of chaos, it is a sign of alignment. You are being prepared for clarity, for truth, for direction. And yes, for emotional revelation. Because someone in your life, someone your heart has not fully detached from, has been going through their own awakening. They've been thinking about what they didn't say, what they didn't do, what they didn't appreciate, what they didn't understand until now. Their silence was never indifference, it was confusion, fear, longing wrapped in hesitation. And now their spirit is stirring because their truth is rising, too. Don't scroll. This message is speaking to both sides of a connection that has been quietly active beneath the surface. You've been feeling their energy at the exact moments they've been feeling yours. You've been thinking of them when they remember you. You've been sensing their emotional waves when they struggle to contain them. And this isn't delusion, this is resonance. A spiritual alignment happening in real time. But here's the part your heart has been avoiding and why this message had to reach you today. You can no longer pretend this isn't affecting you. You can't ignore the emotional truth rising inside you. You can't ignore the calling pulling you toward your next chapter. You can't ignore the signs that keep showing up in front of you. You can't ignore the connection that keeps whispering your name. You can't ignore your intuition anymore. God is urging you to step into the clarity you've been avoiding because once you acknowledge it, everything begins to shift, not in fear, but in power. Don't scroll, feel this, because this is your turning point. You are not being pressured, you are being prepared. You are not being warned, you are being awakened. And the truth rising in your spirit right now? It's not here to scare you. It's here to free you. Don't scroll, listen to this, because the moment this message found you, something inside you shifted again. That same tug in your chest, that same rush of warmth through your ribs, that same feeling that you're reading something you were meant to see, not accidentally, not by chance, but because your spirit is entering a moment where truth refuses to stay buried any longer, and your heart needs this right now more than you've allowed yourself to admit. You've been waking up with a sense of urgency, falling asleep with a sense of pressure, and moving through your days with a quiet whisper echoing in your chest, a whisper that's been telling you, pay attention. Something is changing. And you've tried to ignore it. You've tried to silence it. You've tried to distract yourself with routine and responsibility, telling yourself you are overwhelmed, stressed, emotional, tired, but deep inside you know it's more than that. Don't scroll. Hear this, the shift happening inside you isn't random, it's alignment. You're being pulled into a season where you cannot lie to yourself anymore, where your spirit refuses to settle for the comfort of pretending, where the universe is rearranging things you once thought were stable to make room for what's actually meant for you. You've been sensing endings, sensing beginnings, sensing something stirring in your relationships and connections. Especially one that has been lingering in your heart far longer than you expected. A connection you tried to move away from, tried to block out, tried to rationalize, but the energy never fully faded. And lately, that energy has been resurfacing at full force, in dreams, in sudden memories, in unexpected emotions, in déjà vu moments that leave you wondering why someone from your past or present keeps showing up in your mind at the most unexplainable times. Don't scroll. Your intuition is trying to tell you something, because while you've been feeling this shift, the other person has been feeling it too. Their spirit has been restless. Their thoughts have been circling. Their heart has been tugging toward something they tried to ignore. They've been going through their own internal unraveling. Questioning old choices, reevaluating old habits, confronting old fears, and suddenly realizing that the connection they tried to silence is actually the one that brings them clarity instead of confusion. They've been getting signs too, the same numbers you've been seeing, the same emotional waves, the same sense of urgency. And whether you realize it or not, your souls have been mirroring each other, waking up at the same time, emotionally shifting in sync. Don't scroll, this is for you. Because the universe is not just waking them up, it's waking you up. You're being pulled toward honesty with yourself, honesty with your emotions, honesty with your intuition. And the truth is, something inside you has been opening, a deeper awareness, a deeper desire, a deeper clarity about what you want and what you can no longer tolerate. You've been feeling less patient with things that drain you. Less tolerant of people who minimize you. Less willing to settle for half-effort connections. Less able to pretend you don't care when you actually do. Your spirit is tired of dimming itself just to keep the peace. Your soul is tired of shrinking to fit into spaces that were never built for your growth. And now, right now, you're stepping into the chapter where you can't ignore your calling, your emotional truth, or your spiritual alignment anymore. Don't scroll, let this sink in, because the universe is preparing you for something bigger than where you've been. The person whose energy is tied to yours is approaching a moment of clarity. They're beginning to understand their own feelings in a way they didn't before. They're beginning to realize what their heart has been trying to say underneath fear. They're finally awakening to truths they pushed away. And as their heart opens, your spirit is being positioned to receive what you once thought you weren't ready for. But you are ready now. Stronger now. Clearer now. You've grown through things that would have broken you years ago. You've learned to listen to your intuition instead of running from it. You've learned to stand alone without losing yourself. You've learned to love without begging. And the universe sees that. Don't scroll, listen, because this next part is the reason you're here. Something is aligning between you and this person. Not because you forced it. Not because you chased it. But because you both healed into it. You've been preparing emotionally, and they've been preparing spiritually. You've been yearning for clarity, and they've been yearning for courage. You've been waiting for truth, and they've been wrestling with it. And the universe is saying, you can't ignore this any longer, because the connection is entering a new phase, one where truth rises, where avoidance fades, where timing aligns, where hearts soften, where conversations happen, where everything finally makes sense. Don't scroll. Your heart needs this, because the breakthrough you're sensing isn't a fantasy, it's a shift. A shift that will bring emotional release, long-awaited answers, unexpected communication, or a moment of honesty that opens a new path forward. You've been preparing for this moment without knowing it, through every lesson, every heartbreak, every awakening, every sign, every intuition. And now the universe is urging you to remain open, grounded, and receptive. Because what you're stepping into will require emotional readiness, spiritual resilience, and a heart that's willing to receive what it once only dreamed of. Don't scroll, feel this deeply, because your life is about to unfold in a way that reveals why certain things had to fall apart, why certain people left, why certain chapters closed, and why certain emotions never went away. You are walking into a season where truth replaces confusion, connection replaces distance, clarity replaces hesitation, and purpose replaces doubt. And everything inside you already knows that this message isn't random, it's timing. Perfect, divine, undeniable timing. Don't scroll, listen to this, because the moment this message appeared on your screen, a quiet electricity moved through your spirit, the kind of subtle inner shift that makes your breath deepen and your awareness sharpen, as if something inside you whispered, "Pay attention, this is meant for you," and your heart needs this right now whether you're ready to admit it or not. You've been carrying emotions that feel like they've been sitting just beneath the surface. Unspoken thoughts, unresolved feelings, silent questions you haven't had the courage to face, and lately it's been getting harder to pretend those emotions aren't calling for your attention. There's been a strange heaviness mixed with sudden waves of clarity, a sense of pressure partnered with unexpected moments of peace, and deep down you know it's because something in your life is shifting in a way you can't ignore anymore. Don't scroll, this is important. Because the universe has been placing signs in front of you, signs that you've brushed off as coincidences even though they struck you in moments that felt strangely intentional. You've seen angel numbers appear when your mind was cluttered, when your heart felt uncertain, when you needed reassurance without knowing how to ask for it. You felt your intuition whispering louder than usual, nudging you toward truths you didn't feel ready to confront. Each sign, each emotional wave, each moment of stillness has been guiding you toward this realization: you are in the middle of an awakening, and part of that awakening involves a connection that refuses to disappear no matter how much time passes or how many distractions you place in front of your heart. Someone in your life, someone whose energy has been intertwined with yours in ways you can't fully explain, has been thinking about you intensely, and you've felt it in ways that defy logic. You've sensed their emotions, their longing, their confusion, their reflection, even when there was no physical communication. And though you tried to block it out, tried to rationalize it, tried to convince yourself that what you felt wasn't real, the truth is that your spirit recognizes their pull because emotional energy doesn't just vanish, it echoes. Don't scroll, your intuition is speaking, because this person has entered a deeper phase of awakening themselves. They've been facing their own internal storms, questioning their choices, replaying memories involving you, and feeling the weight of emotions they once tried to suppress. Their silence hasn't been rejection, it's been fear, uncertainty, and a lack of emotional vocabulary to express what their heart has been trying to tell them. And although they haven't reached out yet, something inside them is shifting, slowly, unmistakably, undeniably. And that shift is creating an energetic ripple that your spirit has been picking up on. You felt moments of sudden sadness that weren't yours, moments of warmth that came out of nowhere, moments of longing that surprised you. These sensations are not signs of weakness, but signs of connection. And the universe is telling you not to brush this off anymore. Don't scroll, lean into this, because your heart has been evolving too. You've been shedding old patterns, releasing old wounds, outgrowing old versions of yourself, and slowly stepping into a more aligned identity. You've started to crave honesty instead of guessing, depth instead of surface-level interactions, purpose instead of chaos. You've started to understand your worth in a way you couldn't before. You've started to see that you deserve someone who meets you with clarity, courage, and emotional truth. And whether you realize it or not, these internal shifts are preparing you for a conversation, an encounter, or a moment of connection that is approaching faster than you expect. The universe has been whispering to both you and this person, guiding each of you to do the inner work required before paths intersect again. Don't scroll, there is more you need to hear, because you've been feeling an urge to reflect on your past with new eyes. Not to reopen old wounds, but to understand them. Not to relive pain, but to extract wisdom. Not to cling to what was, but to recognize what is still energetically alive. You've been sensing completion and beginning simultaneously, and that paradox means something significant is aligning. Your heart has reached a level of readiness it didn't have before, and that readiness is both a signal and a magnet. It is pulling truth toward you, pulling clarity toward you, pulling emotional breakthrough toward you. And yes, pulling this person toward you as well. Don't scroll, because here comes the revelation your spirit has been circling around. They are reaching a point where holding in their emotions is becoming more painful than expressing them. Their resistance is cracking. Their fear is weakening. Their heart is surfacing. Their truth is rising. They are approaching a moment where honesty becomes their only option, not because they are forced, but because emotional pressure demands release. And the universe is urging you not to ignore what you've been feeling. Not to suppress your own intuition. Not to shrink your truth out of fear of disappointment. You are being prepared for alignment, and this alignment is not random, it is the result of spiritual work, emotional maturity, and divine timing converging. Don't scroll, your heart needs this, because you've been afraid to hope, afraid to trust, afraid to believe in emotional clarity after carrying so much uncertainty. But the universe is reassuring you that this next chapter will not mirror the confusion you survived. This is a season where truth surfaces, where intentions are revealed, where emotional fog lifts, where connections become clearer, and where your soul finally feels seen. The shift you feel is not imagined, it's real, it's powerful, and it's unfolding right now. Stay open. Stay grounded. Stay receptive. Because everything inside you already knows, what's coming isn't chaos. It's revelation. Don't scroll, listen to this, because the moment this message showed up in front of you, your spirit reacted in a way you couldn't hide, your breath slowed, your chest warmed, your intuition sharpened. And that's because you're stepping into a moment where the universe is pulling back the curtain on things you weren't meant to understand until now, and your heart needs this right now more than you've allowed yourself to admit. You've been walking around with a strange mix of heaviness and hope, feeling as if something is coming, something is shifting, something is aligning just beyond your physical senses. And you're right. You felt the emotional pressure building like a storm you can sense before the clouds even appear. You've been feeling the pull of decisions that need to be made, conversations that need to happen, truths that need to surface. And while part of you has tried to push it aside, telling yourself you're imagining things, the deeper part of you knows these feelings are real. Because alignment always arrives with a quiet intensity that your spirit recognizes long before your mind catches up. Don't scroll, stay with this, because lately, the signs have been louder. The angel numbers have been repeating in patterns too precise to dismiss. You've been having moments where your mind drifts into memories you thought you were done processing. You felt waves of emotion wash over you at times when nothing around you could explain them. You've been remembering someone, sensing someone, feeling the emotional echo of someone whose energy has never fully disconnected from yours. And whether you understand it or not, the universe has been nudging this connection into your awareness for a reason. There is something unresolved, something unspoken, something that's been waiting for the right moment to rise to the surface, a truth neither of you were ready to face until now. And don't scroll, your intuition already knows this, because the emotional sensitivity you've been experiencing lately isn't weakness, it's preparation. You're becoming more aware, more receptive, more spiritually tuned in, because you're about to hear something, learn something, or experience something that changes the way you understand this connection and the way you understand yourself. Someone has been thinking about you with a depth they can't hide anymore. Someone whose feelings didn't fade the way they pretended. Someone whose silence had more to do with their own fear than with your worth. Someone whose heart has been wrestling with memories, emotions, and realizations that keep bringing them back to you, no matter how far life has taken them. And though you may not have seen any signs of this physically, your spirit has felt it, in the sudden moments of longing, the flashes of déjà vu, the emotional waves that hit you out of nowhere. Don't scroll, listen to this, because their awakening is mirroring your own. They've been going through internal shifts they didn't anticipate. Questioning their choices, confronting their mistakes, facing the truth of their own heart. They've been feeling pulled toward you with a force that makes no logical sense to them, yet feels undeniably real. They've been replaying conversations, moments, and feelings they once tried to block out, only to realize that rejecting the connection didn't dissolve it, it only delayed it. And now, that delay is ending. The universe has been guiding them toward clarity in the same way it's been guiding you toward emotional readiness. You've both been evolving in ways that finally make communication possible, honesty possible, understanding possible. Don't scroll, this next part matters, because the internal work you've been doing, even without realizing it, has been clearing the emotional fog that once kept you stuck in cycles of confusion and self-doubt. You're no longer the version of yourself who accepted breadcrumbs. You're no longer the version who stayed quiet to keep the peace. You're no longer the version who ignored your intuition to avoid discomfort. You've grown. You've strengthened. You've awakened. And your spirit is now aligned with truth, real truth, deep truth, uncomfortable truth, liberating truth. And part of that truth is this: you've been feeling their energy because your souls are preparing for a moment of revelation. A moment where what's been hidden becomes visible. A moment where what's been unspoken becomes spoken. A moment where what's been denied becomes acknowledged. A moment where fear loosens its grip and honesty finally steps forward. Don't scroll, hear this deeply, because the universe is orchestrating a shift that will feel both surprising and familiar, sudden yet long-awaited. You may receive a message out of the blue. You may hear information about them unexpectedly. You may experience a dream so vivid it feels like a conversation. You may feel their emotion so clearly that it brings tears to your eyes. These moments won't be random. They will be signs that the energetic barrier between you is dissolving. You are being guided into a chapter where clarity replaces confusion, where connection replaces distance, where truth replaces guessing. And whether the path leads you back together, forward separately, or into a new understanding altogether, this revelation will free you from the emotional limbo you've been living in. Don't scroll, stay with this, because you are not entering a season of chaos, you are entering a season of truth. And truth, even when it shakes you, always sets you in the direction of your highest alignment. You're being prepared emotionally, spiritually, mentally for what's coming next. You're not imagining the shift. You're not overthinking the signs. You're not making up the connection. Your spirit recognizes the movement because it's real, it's present, and it's unfolding right now. And soon, sooner than you think, the revelation you've been sensing will break open, and everything that felt uncertain will finally make sense. Don't scroll, listen to this, because the moment this message found you, a quiet awareness rose inside you like a soft tide, the kind that makes your heart lean forward before your mind even understands why, and that's because this message is speaking directly to the part of you that's been carrying silent questions, unspoken feelings, and a tension you haven't been able to shake. You've been sensing something building beneath the surface of your life, something big enough to shift your emotional landscape, something powerful enough to rearrange the way you understand yourself, your relationships, and the connection that has been tugging at your spirit. And even though you've tried to stay grounded, tried to stay rational, tried to stay unbothered, your intuition keeps rising louder, clearer, more persistent. Don't scroll, this is for you. Because you've been wrestling with emotions that don't match your day-to-day reality. You've felt sudden waves of longing, sudden heaviness, sudden flashes of memory, sudden warmth in your chest, and you've wondered if you're overthinking or imagining things. But you're not. What you're feeling is resonance. What you're sensing is energetic truth. What you're experiencing is the unfolding of a revelation that's been waiting for the right moment to reach you. And that moment is drawing closer than you think. Someone connected to your heart, someone whose energy your spirit recognizes instantly, is experiencing a breaking point within themselves. They've been fighting feelings they didn't know how to handle, trying to suppress emotions that only grew stronger the longer they resisted them, trying to convince themselves that distance meant detachment, that silence meant closure, that ignoring the connection would weaken its force. But their heart is tired of pretending. Their spirit is tired of running. Their emotions are rising with a momentum they can no longer stop. Don't scroll, your heart needs this, because while you've been feeling them, they've been feeling you too. They've been overwhelmed by memories that won't leave them alone. They've been blindsided by emotions they thought they were done with. They've been pulled toward thoughts of you in moments where logic says your name shouldn't even cross their mind. They've been experiencing the kind of internal pressure that doesn't go away until truth is acknowledged. And this truth? It's becoming too big for them to hide anymore. Their thoughts return to you even when they try to focus on something else. Their heart aches in ways they can't explain to anyone around them. Their spirit keeps whispering your name even when their fear tries to silence it. And though they may not have reached out yet, though you may not have seen any visible sign of their awakening, the shift is happening. Right now. In real time. And you can feel it because your soul is tethered to theirs in a way that transcends physical communication. Don't scroll, This part will speak deeply to you, because you've been evolving too. You've grown through pain. You've risen through heartbreak. You've learned lessons the hard way. You've become more self-aware, more intuitive, more emotionally intelligent. You've healed wounds that once controlled your decisions. You've released patterns that once kept you stuck. You've transformed into someone who no longer chases, no longer begs, no longer tolerates half-hearted connections. Your self-worth has expanded beyond what you would have accepted even a year ago. This growth, your growth, has triggered something inside them. It's made them see you differently. It's made them realize things they were blind to before. It's made them confront parts of themselves they avoided. You stepping into your strength has nudged them toward their vulnerability. You stepping into your truth has nudged them